We are glad to see you again on our channel. And today we have a review of the movie in which Brinn lives outside of town, alone in her house. The girl does not communicate with anyone and rarely leaves the house. Once the city is captured by aliens and Brinn has to escape alone. The town of Mill River. The girl Brinn lives alone in her childhood home. She stands in front of the mirror and rehearses a smile. Then the girl chooses the dress to wear, stopping on the yellow. Brinn turns on the light in the dollhouse and sits behind the sewing machine. She finishes the dress, packs it with a note, "Thank you," and leaves the house. In the yard, she notices that the grass grows poorly on the part of the lawn and takes a hose to water it. Getting into the car, Brinn again rehearses a smile in the rearview mirror. Apparently, the girl has poor social skills because she trains even to smile. And Brinn rarely leaves the house, so she worries when she needs to do it again. Brinn. The girl passes by the neighbor, waving to him, but the guy just looks at her sideways and turns away, not answering. Brinn travels to the post office in the city and sends her parcels. Then she arrives at the cemetery, to her mother's grave. The tombstone says, Sarah Adams. Brinn sits there a little, looks at the birdhouse on the tree, then gets up and leaves. The girl greets everyone she meets, but no one answers. Returning to the car, she sees a man in uniform and a woman, and hides in the parking lot behind another car, watching them. This is Mr. and Mrs. Collins, parents of a friend of her childhood, Maud. Brinn is hiding from them because, apparently, something bad happened earlier. Brinn returns home and, sitting on the street, writes a letter addressed to Maud. The girl notices the mailman arriving in a car near her house and leaves her a box. The mailman throws the box like a ball into the basket, parading the athlete. Brinn picks it up, checks the contents shaking, smiles, and goes to the house. Brinn turns on the music and dances. The girl introduces that dances in a pair and makes corresponding movements. She puts in her dollhouse another building, a school, and takes pictures of it. Brinn pours himself wine, drinks, cooks, and eats. In parallel, writes letters to a friend. In the letters, Brinn tells her about everything that happens to her every day. Not a single letter, by the way, has been sent. At nightfall, Brinn reads the book while sitting in bed. Then she turns off the lamp on the bedside table and falls asleep. In the middle of the night, Brinn wakes up because of strange noises in the house. She hears heavy footsteps downstairs and some clicking. The girl gets out of bed, goes to the window barefoot and looks at the street, then leaves the room and realizes that someone broke into her house. Brinn sees a creature, an alien, on the ground floor. The girl takes off her shoes so not to make a fuss and runs to her room, sits behind the bed, and then climbs under it. Brinn hides from the alien throughout the house while he tries to find and capture her. She realizes that aliens don't talk, but use different sounds to communicate. The creatures also appear to have telekinetic powers. At this time, all electrical devices are switched on and off by themselves. Brinn tries to call, but she fails. The phone does not work. The alien sees her. The girl starts running away from the creature around the house. The door of the cupboard falls on her, hitting Brinn on the head, and the girl crawls away. Soon, the alien overtakes her, and she stabs him in the head with a figurine of the tower, which she accidentally grabbed from the shelf, depriving the creature of life. The girl notices a shard in her leg and pulls it out, writhing with pain. Then she covers the alien body with a blanket. Brinn searches the house, tries to make a call, carefully picking up the phone and typing numbers, but the phone still does not work. The girl checks if the fridge works, the lights, the water. Nothing works. Brinn, limping, goes to the car and tries to start it to drive away, but the car does not start. The girl is mad. Brinn looks at the body of the creature. Realizing that she needs to go to the city, Brinn goes to the shower. Standing under the pressure of water, she washes the blood from her head, which was left after hitting Brinn on the cabinet, inhales deeply. The girl puts on a shirt and pants, combs her hair. Then she forces her passage into the house with a sofa, climbs it to go outside, runs to the bike. The girl gets on her bike and goes for help. On the way to the city, Brinn sees an overturned mail car. She stops and runs up to it, hears hissing sounds. Then she sees the signs of a circle on the grass near the mailman's house. Brinn looks around the neighbor's house. She realizes that the aliens are not only after her. Then the girl goes on. Brinn comes to the city. On the street, everyone looks at her with contempt. The girl enters the police station. Right at the entrance, she runs into Mr. and Mrs. Collins. Mrs. Collins spits in Brinn's face and leaves. The woman's husband seems to want to say something, but only looks contemptuously at the girl and leaves the precinct too. Brinn realizes that no one will help her at the station. She goes out faster before anyone else sees her. Brinn has a nervous breakdown. The girl shakes. She sits on the ground, near the plot, to calm down and sees a bus approaching. Brinn puts on a hat and glasses, enters the vehicle. The bus leaves. Brinn is already relaxed and thinks she can leave, but is attacked by people obsessed with aliens on the bus. Brinn barely manages to get away from them and get off the bus. The girl runs back to the city. On the way, she enters a private area in the forest, bypassing the tablet, and sees a house there, tries to call someone to help, knocks on windows and doors, but everything is closed, and apparently no one is there. Brinn sees his girlfriend's headstone, thinks for a while, then notices a gathering cloud in the sky and runs. The girl sees a bunch of people, residents of the city, who stand and look at the sky, reaching out to meet aliens. The villagers turn their heads towards the girl and look at her. Brinn runs back to her house. She looks at the house with caution, checking to see if the creature's body is there. Brinn enters the house and inspects the body of the dead alien. Then she takes control, breathes deeply, and begins to act. Brinn goes to the kitchen and finds a lighter in the desk drawer. With it, the girl lights candles all over the house, lights the fireplace and the gas stove. She draws water to the pots and puts them on the burners. The girl wraps and nails up all the windows and doors using nails and bedspreads. After a while, the girl sees that these very nails slowly fall off one by one. Brinn barely has time to hide. Blue light comes through the window. The girl watches as the aliens retrieve the body of their kinsman, who was lying dead in the Brinn house. The creature's body just floats in the air towards the exit from the house. Brinn herself escapes and hides in the basement. Light first shines in the basement, and then another alien comes in and starts looking for Brinn. Brinn stretches and picks up the scissors. The creature approaches the side, and Brinn is frightened. The alien moves the table to her with the power of his mind. The girl tries to defend herself by using a picture frame, a book, but the creature pulls everything from her hands by the power of his mind. The alien looks at the photo in the frame. There is Brinn with her friend. The creature seems to be thinking about something. Brinn escapes, but the creature attacks her. There is a struggle between them. Brinn bites the alien, then tries to beat him with pots, but the creature holds her with his mind. After a while, Brinn still manages to deprive this creature of life. The girl falls from the window of her house into the yard. She crawls through the grass far from home and doesn't notice a man coming, who grabs her hair and starts dragging her. The man is obsessed with aliens. They get to the UFO. Brinn observes the man being dragged into it and then falling to the ground. Brinn again runs to the house. There is another alien waiting for her, which looks like a spider. Brinn hides under the car, but the creature overtakes her. Then the girl uses a lighter to try to light gasoline on the bottom of the car so that it explodes with an alien. Brinn finally does it. She stands and looks at the fire. But suddenly, the UFO appears from above, and the light begins to chase the girl. Brinn hides in the house. An alien enters and searches for her, looking for photos in her room. Brinn sneaks up behind him, but the creature repels her with his mind. Brinn looks out of the window and is hit by a red light that immobilizes the girl and lifts her into the air. The alien comes to her, spits out some parasite from his mouth. The parasite climbs into the mouth of Brinn and dips her in a vision. The girl wakes up, falls from her bed and screams. Then she gets up and starts walking around the house, inspecting it. The house is fine, and the aliens are like a dream. Brinn hears the voices of people on the street and then sees her friend Maud, who walks into her house. Brinn strokes her hair and smiles, but then, realizing that this is all unreal, Brinn puts her hand in her mouth and takes out the parasite. Brinn sits outside her house with a sticky parasite in her hands. She accidentally drops him to the ground and hears a loud sound. The UFO is shining on another girl whose mouth is being sucked by a parasite. Brinn escapes. In the forest, she encounters her copy, which was created and sent for the real Brinn by aliens. A replica of Brinn is stabbed, and Brinn cuts a replica throat using her knife. Brinn cries and walks through the forest, realizing that there is simply no place to seek salvation. The UFO sucks her up. Brinn finds herself on a spaceship. She stands in a stream of light, and the aliens are looking at her. They point at the girl, and she falls into a vision. Brinn finds herself in a memory. She sees herself small. Her mother is beside her. They build a dollhouse. Then the girl sees the policeman outside, her friend's father standing on his laps. Then Brinn finds herself in the woods. She sees her little quarreling with a friend who pushes Brinn to the ground. Brinn picks up a stone and hits Maud on the head. Everything is painted red. The girl sees her after the incident write letters addressed to a friend, using it as a way to cope and forget the past. Brinn takes her hand in the past and seems to reconcile with what happened. The aliens let the girl go and she falls to the ground. Brinn puts on a beautiful dress, gets on a bicycle and goes to the city. She says hello to all the residents, and she is kindly waved back. The girl comes to the party with the people of the city and dances with them. She smiles and feels happy. All the people around here are under alien control, and the aliens are still taking over the world. This is the American film No One Will Save You. In the genres of horror, fantasy, director, and screenwriter is Brian Duffield.